Welcome back to WP Sports Desk. With the season leaning towards the playoffs, it's time to talk some baseball. And what better way to start than with some Mets baseball? Giuseppe?
Absolutely, Mason. We're going to go out to Citi Field where the Mets took on the Braves. Big Sexy on the mound for the Mets in the top of the seventh, and Anthony Recker is going to live up to his last name and send that one over the right field wall to cut the Mets lead down to 1. Bottom of the seventh, James Loney trying to cushion the lead for the Mets here. He hits that one far and back, but Matt Kemp channels his inner Willie Mays, and he makes the play out there in left field. Outstanding catch there by Kemp to take what could have been a double away from Loney. Top of the eighth now, Kemp at the plate with 2 men on. He's going to sky that one, and Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes, notorious for throwing runners out at home, is not going to make the play here, and the tying run comes across the score to make it a 3-3 ball game. Top of the ninth, runners on the corners for Enciarte. Enciarte is going to ground that one. He's going to be thrown out at first, but the go-ahead run is going to come across the score to give the Braves a 4-3 lead late in this one. Bottom of the ninth, Yoenis Cespedes up with 2 men on. Cespedes is going to sky that one deep. That one is far. That one coasts right into the glove of Enciarte, and the Mets lose a devastating one, 4-3.
Now, we got two Yankee fans here, 2 Mets fans, so I know how we feel about that game, but Padres fan, I'm not sure how he feels about that. For more on the Mets game, we go to our correspondent, Jake Bailey. Jake?
Yeah, that was definitely a devastating loss for the Mets, but it definitely helps that the Cardinals and the Giants both lost, keeping the Mets' wild card chances alive. But as we saw all season, the Mets struggled with runners in scoring position, and they struggle late in the games, holding a lead past the 7th inning on. So,
thank you, Jake. Fellas, let's talk about the NL wild card. Tight race here. Let's get some predictions on who is your favorite and who's going to come out with that NL wild card.
I'm going to say the San Francisco Giants, and I'm not talking about because somehow every even year they have this voodoo magic thing that they do and they automatically end up in the World Series. I'm saying because they're so experienced. They have Buster Posey. They have Madison Bumgarner, who have been through 3 World Series with this team, and they have 3 World Series rings. And then you got guys like Hunter Pence and Angel Pagan, who have been with the team for 2 World Series. And these guys just know how to play small ball. They've been through it, so they know when to get the hits when it matters most.
Right. Well, if you asked me a month ago, I would have said the Giants too, but 29 blown saves this season. That's the most in the MLB. 5 losses this month when leading after 8 innings. That's not the recipe for a contending team. They've completely almost fell out of this race because they were so great in the first half of the season. Now, it's going to be the Mets. The Mets are the hottest team in baseball. Within the last month, they have a dynamic upper half of the lineup. That doesn't mean they're going to last in the playoffs. They have too many injuries for that, but the Mets are going to come out victorious in this wild card.
I wouldn't say they're so hot anymore. I mean, they just got swept by the Atlanta Braves, and last night was something else. Yeah. But I'm going to go away from my Mets bias here. I'm going to go with the St. Louis Cardinals here, just because of playoff experience. They haven't missed the playoffs since 2010. So I'm going to go with them over the Mets. The Mets will get there because of their easy schedule, but I think the Cardinals will beat them.
I think with the Giants, yes, they do have the experience. They have Bruce Bochy, the greatest manager in baseball right now. But like Joe said, 29 blown saves, and you said 5 losses this month after 8 innings.
After 8
That's
inning
unbelievable.
leads, they can't win in late.
They don't have a closer. How can a team make the wild card without a real closer?
They have Madison Bumgarner, who they can use anywhere really.
Okay, yeah, but that's only once a week. Come on. Yeah, and then when you got the Cardinals, yes, they have the experience. They haven't missed a playoff since 2009, but I just don't see with the Cardinals. They have the 4 games against the Cubs. That alone might just kill their chances.
Right.
For me, it's got to be the Mets. Like Joe said again, they got Reyes, Cabrera, and Cespedes killing it at the top of the lineup. Right. They got Familia, who's the best closer in baseball right now. They got a good rotation that's going to get them enough to get through that wild card.
Right. Giuseppe, we've got more baseball action and some highlights for you. Tag, you're it. Take it away.
Thanks, Mason. We're going to head over to Tropicana Field where the Rays took on the Yankees. And who else? Gary Sanchez sends that one over the left field wall to make it a 6-0 game. That is his 18th home run in 45 games this season. Bottom of the third, Bobby Wilson sends that one way over the wall, giving the Rays some life in this game. Then Evan Longoria, 2 batters later, Longoria lines that one to pretty much the same spot to give the Rays a little bit more hope. Bottom of the third again, Miller ate his Wheaties this morning. That one goes over the wall. That one will put a little bit more cushion on the board for the Rays. Now, we got one more person that wants to join in on the party. Dickerson slams that one over the center field wall. Dickerson with his 22nd home run of the season. Masahiro Tanaka gave up 4 home runs in that inning, 3 of them back-to-back-to-backers. So a little bit of a rough start for Masahiro Tanaka. But then again, he's got Gary Sanchez on the team, and Sanchez pads the lead for the Yankees. You can always count on this kid with his 19th home run of the season, of his career, in, once again, 45 games. And then we got another rookie here in Solano. Solano's going to pad the lead a little bit more because, you know, the Yankees needed it. And that game will go on to end 11-5 in favor of the Yankees.
Right, definitely good news for our Yankees. Giuseppe Antonio, we talked about National League wildcard. Let's flip it here. AL wildcard, who's taking it?
I like the Baltimore Orioles.
Okay.
They got 1 through 9 they can take it out of the ballpark. I believe they have the most home runs in baseball. Their starting rotation is not good, but if they can get a lead to that bullpen and get a lead, especially to Zach Britton in the 9th inning, lights out.
Okay, Craig?
I'm going to go with the other team holding a wild card spot right now. That's the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay.
I'm just going to go, just like with the Cardinals before, I'm going to go with experience. If you remember, the Blue Jays were in the ALCS last year, so I'm going to go with experience just because of that. It could be anyone, really.
Sure.
I'm going to agree with Antonio and say the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, these guys have so many hitters on their team. They're like the Kansas City Royals of old, when the Kansas City Royals used to be able to play small ball. The Orioles have the most home runs in the league right now, and they also can just hit anywhere on the field.
I'm going to make it 50-50. I got to go Blue Jays in this one. The Blue Jays are going to get the top wild card spot. It's a toss-up for the second wild card spot right now, but no matter who makes it, it's going to be the Blue Jays that come out on top. Home field, we know how it is at their stadium. It's absolutely wild. Home field advantage for them is a big deal, and if they can get the home field advantage, they're going to win it.
All right, Giuseppe, let's keep it with our Yankees and let's talk about Joe Girardi. I'd like to see him stay in the Yankee uniform, but we may not be seeing him there next season.
You know what? I don't think that's the case. I mean, I'm one of the guys that hates it when a manager's blamed for a team doing so poorly.
Sure.
I don't think that you should fire the manager. Like, look at Joe Madden for the Cubs. Joe Madden completely turned that ball club around with about, I think they have like 97 wins right now. They clinched so early in the season. But Joe Girardi, I think his job is safe, especially because he's a former catcher, and the guy that's hitting really hot right now on the Yankees is the catcher, Gary Sanchez.
Right, so let's keep it here. One more question. We've got about a minute left, so let's talk about Gary Sanchez. Clearly lighting up the highlights. Only been playing a little over a month, yet there are talks of him taking Rookie of the Year.
I think Gary Sanchez is keeping Joe Girardi's job alive, and he's going to be the reason why Joe Girardi comes back. But he's not going to Rookie of the Year just because he's only played those few games. If you look at his numbers, he's in the 45 games. It's remarkable. The 19 home runs, but overall for me, it's Michael Fulmer.
Right.
Michael Fulmer second in the AL with an ERA. He's unbelievable.
Craig?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Antonio there. I'm going to say Michael Fulmer just because of the fact that Michael Fulmer has played the entire season. Gary Sanchez came up August 3rd, I think.
Right.
So he's only played a little bit over a month. He's had an unbelievable month. And if he was up a little bit longer, I think he would take it away. But I'm going to say Fulmer.
If Gary Sanchez won Rookie of the Year, Cespedes should have won the NL MVP last year.
Yeah.
Fair enough, Giuseppe.
Well, I think that Gary Sanchez should win Rookie of the Year because, once again, I said it during the highlight, 45 games, 19 home runs, and you saw before he had a .333 batting average. This kid is just lights out.
Guess so. That's good news for my Yankees. That'll do it for baseball. Stay tuned for football with Greg and the gang coming up next.